In this video, you're going to have a full first day of BJJ experience, complete with warm-ups, games, positions, and techniques. This all leads into a 5-day introduction curriculum that I think gives you a solid base from which to continue your journey into jiu-jitsu. Have fun.
We're going to start off with some warm-ups. These warm-ups will build into techniques we learn later on. So first up, we're going to have our bridges. Our bridge, we're going to start here, feet close to our butt, laying facing up at the ceiling. I'm going to raise my hips and put them back. Okay, nice and easy. We're going to do this 8 to 12 times. And just to expedite the process, we're going to go on to our next bridge variation. We're going to go over a shoulder. Okay, my head is going to stay on the ground. I'm trying to get some amount of mobility in my spine, in my neck, trying to extend my posture here. And the next one is a shrimp in place and a reverse shrimp. So we're going to start here, elbows straight through our body. I'm going to go to one side. My weight is on my shoulder and my feet. I extend my legs so that my hips go back. Notice that my feet and my shoulders stay in place. Now I'm going to bring my hips back to my feet. Good, that's nice and easy. We're going to continue on. We're going to start with a rock here. So back and forth. Now, that's easy. We're going to move on to a combat base. So from this rock, we're going to fold our leg, our lower leg against our upper leg, our thigh here, and our other knee is going to point at the ceiling. We're going to have a bit of space in between our knees, and we're going to try to push our way through that into this position. So basically, one leg perpendicular against the ground, and the other knee tight to our upper body, and our arms tight to our ribs. Okay? So, again, we're folding the leg, coming up, and we're entering this combat base. It might help to think about pointing the toe here so that you have a round joint that you're going over. The other thing that might help is having a bit of leeway, having this go a little sideways so that you're not here trying to fight your leg. Right? So try to get a little bit of space so that you're able to come up through space. Cool. And for our very first day, our most important one, last, the butterfly drop. We're going to use this a lot today. So we're starting from this position, very similar to like a yoga butterfly position. And we're going to put one foot through the gap between our heel and our butt here on this side. Now we're going to drop to the shoulder on the side. And there we go. So notice my toes and my knees are pointing up. Now I'm going to use the foot on the ground to raise my hips, just like that. No, it's kind of funny, but this is a very effective way to transfer weight. There we go. Here, foot on the ground is going to be raising my hip, and we come back. you're gonna have some of your weight on your head. Okay, and just to clarify, we're going here onto the shoulder, not the elbow. Shoulder and raising the hips. Think of the toes pointing up here and the toes on the ground pointing down. That's going to give you a really strong structure. Cool, warm-up's done. So now let's go into our first techniques and our first games of the day. We're going to start our Discovery Jiu-Jitsu with a very simple game. All right, so we're going to start off with me in butterfly position here. Lucius is going to be on top, and we each have distinct goals. On top, his goal is to get my back to the mat. Okay, so think of like both shoulder blades to the mat, like he's pinning me. Okay, my goal is simply to get his either hand to the mat. Okay, so if I'm able to do it like this, fine. If I'm able to somehow use that butterfly hook to lift him, that's fine. You're, of course, allowed to be more, to get more than his hand. So if you get his head to the mat, obviously, that would also be a win for you. And yeah, this is a very simple game to see if you can off-balance your partner. And for him, it's to see if he can remove all that variability and get my back to the mat. So we're just going to play a couple rounds here. Whenever someone wins, we switch position. All right? So go ahead. And there it is. You got it? So now right on top. And go. There it is. Hand on the mat. And now hands on top. Ooh. Took him over, but then out of one. Now I'm on top again. See if it's possible if I just push him like this to get him down. A little bit difficult, right? Get the arm drag again. So as you can see, it's a very simple game, but over the course of 5 minutes, you're gonna figure out how to move your partner around, and it is the start of a lot of your attacks. The ability to off-balance somebody is the beginning of your sweeps, your ability to stand up, maybe your submissions. And this is a good start for our next technique. After playing that game, you might have noticed a couple things. I don't want to have my chest open like this. It makes it very easy for Lucius to push me over. So instead, I really want to be hunched over like this and provide a structure against his weight with my entire upper body. Okay, my elbows are also tight to my thighs here. That's going to give me a lot of support against his weight. So there's that initial posture. We want to be forward. Now we're going to get into an attacking position, or I should say a high leverage attacking position. We're going to get an underhook. So I'm going to pull him forward slightly. That's going to bring his posture forward, and we're going to get an underhook on the far side here. I'm cupping his shoulder. My forehead is at the base of his neck or his clavicle here, and my right hand is right on his bicep on the far side. Okay? Once I get this position, try to get the other side too. So I'm going to take my left hand, I bring his posture forward, right hand goes under his arm. I'm going to cup his shoulder here, my forehead right against the base of the neck or his clavicle, his collarbone here. My left hand is right on his bicep. Once I get this position, we're going to stop here, and then it's his turn to do that a few times. All right, so we've gotten our underhook, we've gotten the far bicep, and we've gotten our head inside of his head, so we have our head against his clavicle here. Now we're going to learn our very first technique, which is based off of the butterfly drop. So if we're here, we're just bringing this through, I'm dropping to my shoulder, I'm lifting my hips, and that's going to give me all of the power I need to bring him over. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to collect the elbow here, ideally, and bring the wrist to my armpit. Okay? Now I'm going to start my butterfly drop. My left foot's going to go through here. I'm dropping to my shoulder, and you can see that he's very, very tilted here. Now, my left foot is going to allow me to raise my hips, and that's going to bring Lucius over, and we end in what's called a mount position. Both of my feet and my knees on either side of his torso. I collect the elbow here, and ideally, I trap his wrist in my armpit. Okay? Now, from here, we're doing our normal butterfly motion, butterfly drop. My left foot goes through the gap. I'm dropping to my shoulder here. You can see that his posture's he's basically already on the ground. Now I'm going to just raise my hips, nice and slow here. Control, control, control. And we should be able to end in mount quite easily. Mount is this position where we have our one foot and one knee on either side of his torso. Move on, and we're going to do a little something for the guy on top. All right, so he's going to look for a passive position. This is going to look like this. It's going to be both palms right on the hips here, and the head against my neck, clavicle. Okay, once he gets this, he has quite a bit of leverage, and I have very little leverage. Okay, so we're going to play a game from butterfly. My goal is to get that position that you're well acquainted with at this point. And his goal is to get both palms on the hips and the forehead against the neck clavicle here. All right, so we're going to play a game right now, and we're going to see who gets that position. Let's go. There it is. You got it. All right. So now that you won, we start over. I'm on top. And in this case, I won palms on the hips and forehead against his collarbone. We're going to play that for 3 minutes or so, and then that'll allow us to learn our pass very quickly. All right, so we're going to start from our passing position here. Both palms against the hips, head against the base of the neck or the clavicle. Now, from here, Lucius wants to push me slightly, okay? What he wants, ideally, is that my feet are in the air, okay? So he wants to push me back past my butt and feet are in the air slightly. Now, he's going to pick an elbow. One elbow is going to go over the thigh. Now, he's going to release, or the opposite side, thigh is going to go backwards. There we go. So now from here, it should be quite easy for him to turn me. And there we go, just at 90 degrees. Now he's going to move his knee in or his thigh in so that it blocks my knee or my thigh. Sometimes you get the hip, and sometimes you can go all the way through here and behind the butt and block it there. Now from here, he's going to go underneath my head and then hold me roughly like a baby. Okay, so we're here. One thing that I often like to do here is bring the hand here so that my hips are a little more mobile and my partner's a little more turned away, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. You can either clasp your hands underneath the far shoulder, or you can block the hip on the near side, but they're good. If your hands are separated, make sure you grab the armpit on the far side. That's going to give you quite a bit more stability in that head side grip. Now that you've done this pass a few times, let's say 8 or so times, you are ready to spar. You're going to be sparring for the last third of the class at least. So this is what sparring looks like. I'm going to be on the bottom here, just like this. His goal is to pass my guard, okay, whoever's on top, and my goal is to sweep. All right, so I'm going to start off just like this, and we go. All right, so now that I've gotten over him. That's a sweep completed, and it's his turn to be on bottom. And again, I'm trying to pass this guard here. Okay, so whenever you finish the pass, you're going to be starting over again. So it's a very simple game that we play on the first day, and for the first 5 classes of your experience, it's going to be just a lot of this. So sweep or pass. There we go. So now that you've completed both the butterfly sweep and the Toreando pass, this Mini-Toreando pass, that is your first day of jiu-jitsu. Congratulations on getting that done. This is just the beginning, but it gives you the very basic dynamic that exists in jiu-jitsu. 80% of what you see on the mat will be a guarder and a passer that's trying to pass guard. So keep that in mind. This is kind of the meat and potatoes of jiu-jitsu, and that's just the beginning. So we're going to be progressing, we're going to make that more complex, we're going to add ranges, and we're also going to add techniques from dominant positions, and finally, in our last class, a submission. So, hope you had fun, and I look forward to you continuing in your jiu-jitsu journey.